to talk about his hairdressing businesses. Well, not only his, but all of our hairdressing businesses.
Indeed, all of us. Thank you, Chair. And to feed on from that point, I mean, when I was studying for my GCSEs and still had a full head of hair, there were approximately 25,000 hair and beauty businesses in the country. Now, today, that number stands at around double, approximately 50,000 hair and beauty businesses. And yet, the number of businesses in that sector that are registered for VAT has essentially flatlined. So I was just wondering if you could start, Sir Jim, by just telling us, are you not at all concerned by those figures, that we've seen this huge increase in the number of overall businesses, but not really any increase at all in the number registered for VAT?
Well, there is obviously a turnover threshold for registering for VAT, so if businesses are small and operate below that threshold, they will not have to register, and the government obviously keeps that threshold under review. And in recent years, it has variously been frozen. I think it was increased by £5,000 last year, but is now frozen again. And therefore, over time, you would expect more and more businesses to come within the ambit of VAT. But obviously, if the turnover is legitimately below the threshold, then we don't expect the business to register.
I suppose, Sir Jim, that's the main concern of this committee, and the Hairdressing Council have submitted written information for this committee to consider, which raises their specific concerns around the rent-a-chair model, which looks to split workers into individual self-employed entities, which then essentially keeps those businesses always below the VAT threshold, which you just mentioned. Their concern is that actually this is often a way for individuals to avoid paying tax aggressively or even evade paying tax. There are also considerable concerns, which I appreciate sit outside the remit of HMRC, that actually this model could be used for other forms of economic crime as well, perhaps money laundering. So again, I would be really grateful if you could offer us reassurances to the Hairdressing Council that you are looking at this area, because it could be the case that this sector is in fact a kind of a new hotspot for tax avoidance, tax evasion and other forms of economic crime.
Yeah, so I think there are two specific tax risks in play there. I mean, one is sort of artificially depressing turnover below the VAT threshold, and that is something that we actively police, and it's part of our hidden economy work and our estimate of the hidden economy in the tax gap. The other is the dividing line between employment and self-employment. The rent-a-chair model is very long-standing in the hair and beauty industry, and provided it is done correctly, then it will give rise to self-employment rather than employment. And there are obviously incentives within the tax system for people to be self-employed. But that, again, is a dividing line in the tax system that we very actively police.
Just one final question there. I mean, it would be great if you could offer reassurances to the Hairdressing Council. And I've had a barber in my constituency in Weymouth, South Dorset, raise this specific concern. I think the legitimate businesses who are doing the right thing and pay their VAT and all their other taxes on the side, I think would be keen to know exactly what and when action will be taken by HMRC. I think the Council deserve that information as soon as possible. So if you could give us at least an overview today, that would be very helpful.
So I agree. I mean, obviously, we are pursuing non-compliance for two reasons. I mean, first of all, because we want
exactly what and when offer reassurances to the Hairdressing Council. And I've had a barber in my constituency